Welcome to In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. Welcome to In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. This is your host, Chantel Michelle. Thank you. This is your host, Chantel Michelle. And you, and I am your host, Chantel Michelle. Everybody, welcome to In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. I'm Chantel Michelle. Girl, Chantel Michelle, and here at In the Know, my name is Chantel Michelle, and I am your host, Rich Girl Chantel, your host. This is In the Know. Hey everybody, it's your girl Chantel Jackson. Hey everybody, it's your girl Chantel Jackson. Hey, here I am. I am Chantel Jackson. I am your host of In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You.
Where you come from, there is a force that unites us all. Join the movement and let your lips do the talking with InTheKnow Cosmetics, available on InTheCosmetics.com.
This program has been brought to you by the Marquardt Law Firm, former prosecutor and experienced aggressive criminal defense attorney, specializing in violent crimes, drug crimes, weapon crimes, murder, fraud, white-collar crimes, DUI, and much more. Fighting vigorously to win every case at trial. Call 248-545-5290. Call the offices of Marquardt now.
Welcome to In the Know, unveiling the greatness in you.
Hey everybody, welcome to In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. Yes, give it up. Yes, it is that time again. You know what time it is. It is time for In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. And it is already the last day of the month. Oh my gosh, where did February go? Where have we? Yeah, the year is already moving past. 2022. It would be gone before we know it. But who is counting? So I'm so excited for today. We are celebrating this month Black History, and we've also been celebrating our artists, local artists, indie artists, artists that are making. Of course, we were talking about singing and acting. They were actors and songwriters, and this month, and they're African American. So how befitting of this month to have both of these on our show In the Know, where we are tuning in every single Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you don't know what time we come on in your sphere of the world, please check your local listings, but figure it out. If you're in Zimbabwe, I know we have some people watching from Africa and all over the world. India be watching. So we get a lot of emails, we get a lot of inboxes, a lot of feedback from all over the world. So we're so excited to have you on. You can watch us on Facebook. A lot of you are watching us on Facebook. Tag, share, and invite. Share this with your friends. Share it in all the groups. Share the good news, y'all. We're unveiling the greatness, and we're talking Black History Month. Today is the last day, but how many know we could keep on celebrating our heritage, which we are some beautiful people, right? And also, you can watch us on subscribe to our YouTube channel. Oh goodness, got my words tied up. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, In the Know 313, and also, of course, right at the one.tv. So that's www.theone.tv. That's also live there, and you can also watch some of the older shows, or our past shows, I should say, on demand on our website. Also, In the Know, we have our new website, ITKshow.com. That's ITKshow.com, which you can also find at chantelmichelle.com as well. So we moving on up. Somebody say upgrade. So we have upgraded. We've celebrating our 1 year here at the broadcasting here with the One TV. Give it up. Come on. Let me pump those hearts. Clap those hands. Celebrate. Don't hate. Yes, 1 year have one TV consistently on every Monday night. So you all, give it up for the audience. Give it up for the audience. We love our audience. Thank you. Thank you for all those that tune in. Thanks to our sponsors, those who have, believed in us. Thanks to our producer. Come on, give it up. Give it up for the producer. All right, so let's get on with the show on tonight. We have a great show for you tonight. We're gonna, like last week, we played the video and we talked about Black history with our children, teaching our children Black history, teaching them our history, some of the things that have been created around our history. You know, the peanut butter and some other things, and my first guest probably can tell me some more stuff. I think the traffic lights and the pressing comb, some other things that have been created by our people, and we want to recognize that not just on this month, but continue throughout our lives and teaching our children. So we talked about that last week. We had Pastor or Minister Jean Overman on from Operation Refuge, and they're doing the Black History Wax Museum with the children, and there are prizes involved. So if you still want to be a part of that, you have a chance to be a part of that. Please contact them at the email provided on the screen. Contact them and let them know, or just inbox me and I'll get you the information. One of my team members will get you the information. If your child wants to be a part of that Black History Month Wax Museum, or if you want to go see it, it's a free event where you can attend, but the children, they can attend for free. They can dress up as a Black person, or African American person, I should say, that made impact. So one of the little girls wants to dress up as Fred Sanford, and her grandma told her no. Fred Sanford and the lady that he always used to fuss with. So I thought that was hilarious. She shared that. And she told her, no, they were just acting. And I asked her, that's the lady. So I thought that was hilarious. Like, how does she know at 5 that these people used to exist? But shout out to the characters that played, the people that played those characters. They were top notch. She actually could do that because they were very, very, what was his name? What was the guy name? Oh my God. I gotta remember. Maybe my first guest. Why can't I remember his name to play Fred Sanford? Oh my God, I'm gonna have to Google it. But anyway, and somebody texted in a thing, who played Fred Sanford? But anyway, let's keep it moving. We're gonna have a great show tonight. Our first guest is definitely a part of Black history, not just Black history, but history, period. History in Detroit, history all around the world. You definitely have heard his name, seen the commercials on him, seen him on the news, sometimes not for bad stuff. He's always on there for promoting, being a community activist, and also he's a pastor. And that's none other than Reverend Horrace Sheffield. I Googled him and he's on Wikipedia, so that's important. You can Wikipedia him. Everybody's not on Wikipedia, and Horrace Sheffield is. I think that's so cool. And he's right here on In the Know. We're going to talk to him for a few minutes about how important it is for us to not just take 1 month to remember Black history, but to teach the next generation what the importance is. And we'll be right back with none other than Reverend Horrace Sheffield right after this. Oh, Red Fox. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. We are here once again. Go ahead and tag, share, and invite someone on to tune in. You don't want anyone to miss the information that's going to come forth. First, we have our Black History edition on tonight's In the Know. As you can see, I got my Black History skirt on. Go stand up. Do not do the camera. Leave the camera alone. Don't you dare. They can see it. I was supposed to have time, so I got kind of like Black history on my head too. But anyway, I am so happy to be here tonight. I hope you are too. We're going to have our first guest join us. But let me read a little bit about him right now. I know him from afar. He's really good friends with my father, Apostle Wayne T. Jackson. Shout out to my dad, Apostle Wayne T. Jackson. And I remember when he came, Reverend Horrace Sheffield had came to be on one of my other friends who I do her casting directed on her talk show, Believe in Yourself. And he was on there, and I was listening to that interview, and I was like, oh, that interview was so powerful. So my my show assistants, shout out to Don on Reverend Horrace Sheffield on for the Black History piece. So I reached out to his people reached out to him, and he said yes. So thank you at the last minute. So I appreciate that. So I want to bring to, he is an American pastor and media personality. He resides here in Detroit, where he is an on-air radio personality and the host of On the Line and on-air television personality as a host. It's called Real Talk Weekly. Sheffield also pastors New Destiny. I love the name of this church, Christian Fellowship, which has churches not just in Detroit, but also Brooklyn. And he's also part of history. He's part of history, not just Black history, but history, period. So we're going to have him come on and just share with us his heart. And we're going to ask him some questions concerning, his history in Black history, and also how does that tie into where we are now as African Americans. Welcome to the show, Reverend Horrace Sheffield.
Yeah, and the guy's name was Red Fox, by the way.
Red Fox, thank you.
Yeah. I'm yelling Red Fox, but she had me muted, so.
Thank you. I Googled it and I said, oh yeah, Red Fox. And he was definitely part of history. He was very funny, a comedian, and he always.
And if you do some further research on Esther, I forget her name, but she had quite a phenomenal history as well.
Yeah.
She played those kind of roles, but she was a very smart, accomplished businesswoman. And
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So the young lady, the little girl that wants to play them, she can actually play them as their real people, because they were very instrumental in, like you said, in not just the acting world, but just period. Oh, right. Wow. So welcome to the show. I'm so glad that you were able to take this opportunity. I heard you have some other plans this week, and we caught you right on time.
Yeah.
Awesome. So in regards to Black history, we just want to make sure we always commemorate as the world has, or America and the world has placed this month, February, the month of February, Black History Month. First of all, let's go back a little bit. When you were growing up, and I got to listen to some of your story through my other friends' broadcast. When you were growing up, I remember you saying that when you were younger, your dad was very instrumental in you being in a part of Black history, because he was one of the first people to bring Martin Luther King to Detroit. Let's talk about that. How was that as a child, seeing that?
And by the way, let's just talk about the history of Black History Month.
Yes, sir.
Carter G. Woodson, the Society for the Study of African American Life and History, proposed Black History Month. Part of my history. I had the pleasure yesterday talking to Dr. Clarence Jones, who really is the speechwriter for Dr. King, and wrote I Have a Dream speech.
Wow.
He's 90 years of age, and he said to me of the fondness that Dr. King had for my dad and how close they were, which I knew. I mean, my dad walked behind his mule-driven, drawn coffin, and it affected him so greatly because a lot of the African Americans who in the trade union movement were not there because the white union leaders pulled away from Dr. King because of his stance on the war.
Wow.
But, one of the things about history that I wanted to say when you were talking is that, we view, history during Black History Month. We look at the lives of other people. We ought not just to honor our history. We ought to be making history.
Come on. Yes.
That's what you're doing in your own show. That's what you're doing by, not only carrying on your dad's legacy, but creating your own. And there's much to be done yet.
Yes.
We haven't come to the promised land yet.
That's true.
And we still have police brutality. Mm-hmm. We're still largely poor.
Right.
Our health issues affect us. We don't live as long.
Wow.
And so pick any of those. I mean, you ain't got to look far to find something to embrace.
That's true.
To make some difference in.
Wow. I love what you said, that we can keep going back. But what about what's happening now with the generation that we are 24, 19, and almost 16-year-old? And like my dad always says too, it's important for us to teach them our history, but also, like you said, they have to make impact and leave a legacy for something for them to be proud of. Because I think our generation today, they look at everything they see on TV and everything, but it's people right here in our own backyard. How important is it for us to teach our children history and how to make history?
Well, one of the things that's so important about history, if you look at what we were able to do as slaves, what we were able to accomplish immediately following slavery,
right.
With all of the impediments, with being poor, with a lack of education, we built great institutions. And so if you look at all of that, look at where we are today with having so, there's really no excuse
No excuse, right?
for us
Ooh.
not to be doing more and better than our foremothers and forefathers were, who were slaves or generations removed.
Do,
I say that only because I'm sure you are aware as well. There's so many people we run into who can give a litany of reasons why
wow.
they can't make it or why it
Yep.
won't happen. I
Yes.
just corrected someone today that I care for that works with me, talking about a brand new vehicle and saying, she said to me, well, I'll never have one.
Jesus.
And I said, what do you mean? I mean, as long as you say that, you won't. But
Mm-hmm.
the point is, when we look at history and we see these people with fourth grade educations
That's true.
who built colleges that are still flourishing today, there's absolutely no excuse for us not to succeed.
That's so true. And that's so good that you bring up that point, because it brings me back to even like my dad was talking about his dad, how back in the times of where blacks were not, they were like everything that was happening with the lynchings and all that stuff in the 60s and 50s and 30s, even, that he was able to leave a will for all of his 9 children when he did pass away when my dad was 13. But he was just saying how he lived as a black man in those days. It was unheard of. So let's fast forward to now. Technology. We've been liberated, if you want to say, in a sense of that we don't have we didn't have to endure what they endure. Why do you think it's a disconnect? Because it has to be a disconnect. Why we feel we don't have we want to make excuse, well, not me, but some people want to make excuses of it's the white man or this man or whatever man, the Chinese man, the Arabic man coming in to not to stop us from pushing forward and making history in our own right.
Well, I think the biggest difference is, my grandfather, or my great grandmother, by what was pictures back here on my wall, the 112, she was free.
Wow.
She was 12 years old when they freed the slaves.
Whoa.
These were people who were race conscious. They were people who lived for the race. They lived for the successive generations. If they didn't achieve, it didn't matter, but they were going to make certain that the life of those who were to come was going to be better than the life they had and the ones before them.
Wow.
We don't think like that anymore. I mean, I use social media, but when I see some of the stuff on social media, it's all about self-promotion. It's all about, having stuff and things as if that is your value. The value of your life is not what you have, but what you give.
Come on. Ooh,
And I think that, somehow or another, we've got to awaken quick, because this Make America a Great movement and all the things we see going on around us is have to all agree, on everything. We ain't got to, march in step. We all need to be going in the same direction.
Right. That's good.
Yeah.
That is so true. I love what you said. We don't have to always agree, but we can agree to disagree. But we can all come together for one cause, and that's not just to make America great again, but just make ourselves. We trying to change everybody else.
There are people who are respected because they spend their money together. And if you disrespect them or do things to them, you will know. You will pay for that.
That's true.
They know with us, we're gonna have a couple of days of protests, a few press conferences, and then it's over. Because we don't have the clout. We can't go to Bank of America tomorrow, one of these banks, and all of us pull our money out of there until they address and read our grievance. I mean, that's what we got to be. We got to teach our dollars some sense.
Right.
I mean, spend our money with people like us who respect it. That's why I love your dad.
Yeah.
I mean, your dad is, he's not out there beating on drums and he ain't wearing kente cloth, but he gets the work done.
And so I think that's where they miss it. A lot of people miss it. They think it's about that, and we acknowledge that we are great people. But it doesn't start with the kente cloths. It doesn't start with the raps. It doesn't start with the fist up. It starts in your mind. Your mindset has to be towards equality and change for all people, all races. Black lives do matter, but all lives matter. Black lives matter. And what is it? What do you think? Let's go there. Talk about the Black Lives Matter movement on that. Did you have anything to say about that?
Sure. Well, let me just say to you, one of the things that I'm tired of, you talk about form versus substance, right? Pouring libations and wearing kente cloth, and yet you love black folks, but you ain't found none you like.
That part. That's
I
true.
mean, first thing we gotta do is stop talking about each other.
Yes.
I just despise that. I despise how we despise people who are successful.
Successful.
Nobody got what they got honestly or worked for it. There's got to
That is
be
so
some
good.
esteem tremendum. But yeah, Black Lives Matter, and I think that some of the people that I've talked to lately, we've had some conversations about this. Judge Mathis and the rest of us, and that is, it's got to be more than a slogan, and it's
That's
got to
right.
start with us.
Yes.
Look at this little 5-year-old child
Got killed. That's so
shot
sad.
twice in the head.
Jesus.
I mean, that's just unconscionable. I
Yeah.
mean, every activist, every concerned, conscious black person in America or in Detroit ought to be out here knocking on doors, finding out who the hell did
Who
that.
did that? Yeah, that's true. So true.
Right.
That's because
So they have to matter to us as well,
That's true.
not just to white folks or the larger society. And one of the reasons that I feel that they can do that is because they don't think we respect ourselves or that Black life matters to us.
To our own selves, because like you said,
Yeah.
that story, and I heard that on the news, and we pray for that family that is dealing with that, the young little 5-year-old child to get executed, got shot execution style
Twice,
in the head.
twice.
Not just
I mean, it's bad enough to do it one time, but to do it
Jesus.
again
My
tells
God.
you the kind of spirit. And I'm a pastor. Your dad's a pastor.
Yes.
I think we ought to be walking down some of these main streets, throwing some holy water, and exercising some of these spirits out of our community.
That is so
I
true.
mean, I really do. I think when it gets warm, we're gonna do Grand
Come on.
River.
Come
we're
on,
gonna
sir.
do that. We're gonna do 8 Mile, whatever we got to do, and burn incense or whatever we got to do as we go and cast out these spirits.
Come on, because it's definitely a that's demonic when you see things like that, and it's happening in our community. So we have to be the change that we want to see. I remember reading that one day. I'm like, man, I got to be the change that I want to see in my children or in anybody that I come in contact with. I got to represent that. And I love what you said about, coming together and once again, talking about the mind. The mind is a terrible thing to waste. When we have a mindset of people who believe that that everybody is against them and nobody is for them, and we got to push forward and knowing who we are and also changing ourselves. And it starts with us changing the Black
But here's
Lives
another
Matter
thing.
because we got to matter to each other.
Here's another thing I say. I mean, no, we can't indict white folks for stuff we're guilty of ourselves.
Come on.
We don't respect ourselves.
That's
We don't
true.
get ourselves right? And until we have that kind of love, and by the way, I found out, as I'm sure your dad knows, that there are folks that love Jesus but can't stand nobody else. So just
Ooh.
because you're in the church doesn't even mean that you have the love just based on the fellowship.
Come on.
If we could get to church to love one another,
Come on.
then maybe we can spread from there, right?
That's
For
right.
if the righteous scarcely be saved,
Come on.
where shall the ungodly, and sinner appear?
And the Bible says too to love thy neighbor as thyself, and why that is not prevalent in no community, especially our community, is because a lot of people don't love themselves. And when you don't love yourself, you can't love anybody, because the Bible says that you have to love them as you love you. And a lot of people don't love themselves. So that's
See,
good.
look, we're made in the image of Dale, in the image of God.
Yes.
If you've been born again and become a new creature, even if you didn't love yourself or you saw yourself as loathsome, in the presence of the Holy Spirit and the presence of Jesus Christ,
Yes.
we see ourselves differently
Yes.
than we would have seen ourselves without him.
Right.
I mean, we're marvelously made, a little lower than the angels.
Come on, sir. You don't start now on me now. That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And that absent blackness, I mean, that's why, I don't exalt blackness. I mean,
Come on.
when people start telling me we were walking, we were building the Nile, but look what happened to us. So you can't exalt just the skin tone. It's
That's
the
true.
character.
It's the character. Yes.
Tell me about the character that black folks had, that they took care of one another and they had a village concept. That's what's palatable and powerful to me.
That's
and
good.
I think that's where the church can serve a role, because it was existing in the New Testament church. Acts 2, after the day of
That's
Pentecost,
true.
they all got all that they had, put it together, and gave to each according to their
To
need.
their knees.
Now we have a situation in church where people promote, building a second silo. Like the man who had the second silo says, "Soul, take thine ease." I mean, it's almost antithetical that we worship a man that never thought of himself, and we use religion to build up ourselves.
Jesus. That's good. That's
Lord,
good.
let
It's
me
so
get
true.
stop preaching here.
It's so true. I'm gonna say that. I said that's a whole message. Let me tell you. So, with that being
Okay.
said, as we wrapped up Black History, we talk about history, and what would you say to our fellow men, women, boys, and girls that may be watching tonight? How to move forward, not just celebrating history as Black people, but just as a human being who loves each other, their fellow man.
So, one of the things I marvel is that the strength of Jewish people, and it's because they've institutionalized certain things. Every Friday before the Sabbath, they have the Shabbat,
That's so true.
which is a family meal where they have things on the table that represent the bitter herbs, their
Jesus,
tears.
this is good. Yeah.
We have to find a way to institutionalize our stories,
Yes.
whether it be men like my grandfather who spent 50 years in the foundry with a fourth grade education, but came home every night and raised a son who walked with Dr. King.
Yes.
I mean, we've got to find a way to tell our story and what the role of faith plays in all of that.
Yes.
Because my grandfather had a fourth grade education, my grandmother never graduated from high school. Their faith, I said Sunday, their faith
Come on.
could look at a cupboard
Come on.
that was empty
Come on.
and ask God for increase and open that cupboard and find something to eat.
Oh, my. You talking about talk. Yes.
They knew the little became much if they
Yes.
yielded to the master's
Because they
touch.
yield to the master's touch. Yeah,
And so you can't go out here and try to build wealth and then ask God to protect it. No, you got to put everything in His
in
hands.
his hands. Yes.
And make certain that what you're trying to do fits with His plan and purpose for your overall life. Because when you're in your purpose,
Yes.
you be like a tree planted by the rivers
Rivers
of
of water. They cannot be.
Yep, bring forth your fruit in due season. And
Due
whatsoever you do shall prosper. I'm in my season. I tell everybody, I am in my season. Now, I had to go through the wilderness to get there.
Ooh, Shabbat.
I've had to drink sweet honey from rocks.
Come on.
But, it didn't make me bitter. It made me better.
Better. Wow. That's important. That's important. It's something that you said, something about you're in your season, sir, because I never forget, my grandfather's name, my dad's father's name is Horrace, was Horrace.
Yes.
And we're doing history even with our family, because our younger generation, we see that there's a disconnect between my dad and his 9 siblings and us, and then are the ones that come after us. So anyway, we're doing a big gathering coming up this summer, and to fun facts and fellowship, learning our history of the Jacksons. So with that being said, my grandfather's name was Horrace, and one of my uncles was named after him. So we've been doing like names. We found out what the name Horrace means, and it means time and season. So
Right.
I didn't know if you knew that, but your name means time
Thank you so
and
much.
season.
Kind,
Yeah. Say it
like
again.
kind.
No, time, Time,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
season. So when
In
you
the
said
fullness of time.
in the fullness of time, you are there, sir. That's what your name means. So every time somebody says your name, it's saying
Right.
this, the time and the season. So definitely, you said you
Time
hit the.
and the season for Reverend Horrace Sheffield.
That's right. And so we are so glad you were able to join us on tonight, and we appreciate you. Thank you so much again. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you next time. We got to have you back on for a longer time, but I thank you for coming and sharing this Black History moment with us here on In the Know. Listen, y'all, thank you again. Give it up for Reverend Horrace Sheffield. Wow, what a wonderful. Oh my God, he's anointed too. I felt the glory. And anybody that follow Horrace Sheffield, he's all on social media. He's on IG. I mean, catching him on IG. His daughter is Mary Sheffield. I believe she's on the Detroit City Council, and I've had a chance to experience her ministry on Clubhouse. And so I've got a chance to meet her on Clubhouse. I haven't met her personally, but she comes from great stock. I love that. And it's important when we teach our children just about life. And I love what he said about faith and fellowship and love. Those things are important. When we talk about skin color, it's good. Oh, we're not saying don't be proud of your heritage, but also be proud of who your creator is as God. God created us all. He says, I love what even Martin Luther King said in his speech, that it's about the character. It's the character. He said, you know the speech, but I remember he said something about character. Hold on, let me find it. I should have asked Pastor Horrace Sheffield about that. But he talked about the content of your character. And that's what Pastor Sheffield kept saying. He talked about the character. People want to harp on your skin color, but I don't care what skin color you are. When people use the word, even my dad was talking to my dad the other day, and he said when people use the word, nigga, and I'm just saying that in reference, it's not about a skin color. That's what he was trying to tell me. It means ignorant. So I don't care what color you are. Some people act like that word, but it's not according to your skin color. That could be anybody, any color, if you act like that, right? So just want to encourage you all just to remember as we wrap up this month and continue to remember the humankind, the humanity, the way God made us, to love one another and love your neighbor as yourself and change the world by changing you, right? All right, we'll see you right after this. We're going to have another edition of our artists when it comes to music, acting, songwriting. We have another great legend coming on. You don't want to miss this. Come on, call a neighbor, call a friend. Oh, you don't want to miss. You saw Beth. We had Beth Griffin on a couple of weeks ago. We had Janelle Simone. And now wrapping up this month with Black history and also music history and just some things that right here in our backyard. And if you don't live in Detroit, Michigan, you need to come here and visit one day. This is a great place to find history. Motown was built here. A lot of things, the car industry. There's a lot of stuff right here in our own backyard. And I wanted to celebrate some of our local artists that have been around the world, but they always call Detroit home. And one of those is Park Stewart. Park Stewart is a songwriter. He's written many songs for many people. And you're going to hear his story and what he's doing now in just a few minutes.
Left to the right, top to the floor. When I say Black history, say it's yours. Black history, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours. And we say it loud and proud again. There's no America without the African. Fighting to get it equal. Black history, the story of the people. Black history, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours. It's yours. Only 28 days in the month of February. It's just a kickoff, we don't stop till every textbook and every class give up the glory. The true and living facts of his and her story. People want to know why we still celebrate it. Road been rocky and we made it, we elated. Our survivors, strivers, fighters, singers get us dropping names like we have butterfingers. Rosa, King, X-Truth, the greatness. Ali, Fred Douglass, these are the basics. But how about Bessie Coleman, the fly aviatrix? Or Katherine Johnson, who helped launch the spaceships? Or Lewis Latimer illuminating homes? Or Dr. Shirley Jackson improving telephones? Or Fred McKinley Jones keeping ice cream cold? I could go on and on till my body get old. Left to the right, top to the floor. When I say Black history, say it's yours. Black history, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours. Fought the revolution in both world wars. Black history, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours. Gotta say it loud and proud again. There's no America without the African. Fighting to get it equal. Black history, the story of the people. We gave you traffic lights to stop the crash. Almanacs, gas furnace, and gas mask. Gave you hip-hop, Tila rock, blues and jazz. And fresh new dances with flair and pizzazz. Automatic gear shifts to move the cars. Potato chips and peanut butter in jars. Laundry dryers, home security systems, super soakers and suspenders. I could go on listing. Many contributions across institutions. Supreme Court and ball court, it's been an evolution. And we sing it every day. Blue notes like Harold Melvin for this Billie Holiday. We know what's going on. Thanks to Marvin Gaye. Get a bounce in our step on cue like Kid and Play. Gwendolyn and Kendrick, our poets represent. Hope gotta remember the forgotten on the Atlantic. We gotta honor our departed, taken from the land where humanity started. Left to the right, top to the floor. When I say Black history, say it's yours. Black history, it's yours. Black history, yes, it's yours.
Hi, I am Genesis Maple. I am the CEO and founder of Genesis Advertising and Public Relations Firm, better known as Genesis APR. Here at Genesis APR, we use creativity and communication to help with your next event or project. We offer services that include event and project management, newsletters, flyers, brochures, business cards, and so much more. Contact us today to schedule your consultation, 734-436-1075. We want to see you there. Thank you so much.
Hey everybody, welcome back to In the Know, Unveiling the Greatness in You. We just having some back talk with the producer. We always have fun here. Behind the scenes, we need to do a whole behind the scenes reel. Y'all will have. That's a whole show within itself. The behind the scenes of In the Know, getting ready. So good evening once again. Thank you for joining us. This is once again February, the last day of February, and we're here with you, unveiling the greatness in so many. We just had a chance to talk to the legendary Reverend Horrace Sheffield, who is a part of history, and he's doing some great things. This is his time and his season. So once again, thank you, Horrace Sheffield, for joining us on tonight to talk a little bit about our history. All right, so we're going to go into our artist edition. We're going to switch it up a little bit, still part of our heritage and just some of the history that has happened in music. So this next gentleman, team reached out, and I met him before through a friend of mine, Ryan Rutley, a few years ago, and one of my favorite groups, we'll talk about that in a minute. Let's just go here. Mr. Park Stewart. Think about back to a period in time when that smooth Motown sound delighted the ear. So once again, with history, Motown, Detroit, right? In the golden years, there was a message in music as Marvin Gaye, Sam Cooke, Stevie Wonder, who I all love, like, and still listen to right now. They were before my time, but they were in my time, but they right on time, right? Still their music rings loud in our ears. The lyrical content could almost be spiritual, like a man bored out of time. We talk about time tonight. I keep hearing that word. This artist delivers music that is heartfelt, spiritual, soul, and R&B that invokes comparisons to the greats of rhythm and blues that influenced him. Similarly, gifted lyrically, he takes smooth to a new level, linking old school flavor, with new school vibe. If the name Park Stewart is both familiar and unfamiliar, it's because he has written songs for such artists as Cry. Come on, somebody. Y'all know nothing about that. On for 112 on the tribute to Notorious B.I.G. Over 3 million copies sold. Come on, y'all. History is here tonight. Yes, give it up. Open Arms, and More Than Just a Melody for Yolanda Adams, who we all know. Oh, I love her. I love that her voice. This is a song, Ordinary Just Won't Do. It was performed by David Hollister and Isaac Carré. I hope I'm saying it right. Carré. Is it correct? Carré? Okay. If you're watching, don't charge to my head. I should have practiced that before I came on. I think it's Isaac's Carré. And then grew up as a commission groupie, y'all. Every PAW convention I would go to, and commission was there. Wherever they were, me and my friends, I grew up in Kentucky. I was born here, but grew up in Kentucky. And I had commissions posters. I loved every last one. And when I got to meet Fred Hammond, I passed out. I met all of them. I met every last one of them. Found out that they were part of, some of them were even part of my family in a roundabout way. Like they knew people that knew people. So yeah, commission, shout out to commission. They still relevant. Google commission. If y'all know anybody at gospel music, they had some songs that Cry On. They did Cry On too, didn't they? Didn't they have a song? Oh, I'll talk to Parker about that in a minute. But I Am Here, No More Loneliness, and Victory, definitely some very powerful songs. Park Stewart sings and writes a thrilling combination of spiritual soul and R&B music that seamlessly blends songs of longing, pain, love, and hope. Parks explains that his objective is to be the nexus, meaning connection, linking our humanity and spirituality. I love that. His intention is to look for the purity and love relationship between husband and wife, man and brother, and God and man. Love it. Parks' music has something for everyone. For people who have experienced divorce, the young person with a potential who just needs a helping hand, and for the burdened soul who needs God. For Parks, it has always been more than just music. It's about keeping it real and dealing with the issues that are usually swept under the carpet. That part. The music then becomes not just an expression of what he does, but truly who he is. You are welcome to our platform, In the Know, unveiling the greatness in you. None other than the legendary Parks Stewart.
Oh yeah. If you let me clear your mind, no need to worry. I'll give you perfect peace. Let me clear your mind. Don't let your circumstance get you down. Winds of life will blow. I wrap my arms around you. Never remind you, in case you forgot. I'm the one who speaks to the winds. They obey me, they gotta stop. Peace like a river. Oh, just know that I'll be there. I'll be there, I'll be there. Yes, I said it, I meant it. You're not alone. I said I never leave you and I never will. Count on me and let your mind be clear. Yeah, yeah. Your mind stay on me. I will. Perfect peace. Oh, clear your mind. Clear your mind. Find no need to worry. No need to worry. I will keep you perfect peace. Let me clear your mind. No more distractions, overreactions. There's a comfort in knowing I got my eyes on you. So just focus on me. Trust and believe I got everything you need. Oh, peace like a river. Oh, just know that I'll be there. I'll be there. Oh, you're not alone. No, no, no. I said I never leave you and I never will. Focus on me. Keep your mind clear. Your mind stayed on me. I will keep you perfect peace. If you let me, you'll find no need to worry. I will keep you in perfect peace. Let me clear all my thoughts. I'm doing well, sweetheart. Doing well. It's a
Awesome,
pleasure to be.
awesome. The pleasure to meet you too. And this is Edward Armstead.
Yes, it is.
Nice to meet you. We've talked on the phone. We did some emailing. Your people, my people. I'm just so glad to have you both on tonight. And as we were talking about earlier, let's go into history a little bit. You all are part of History Parks. You are part of history, even in music. And even, did you grow up here in the Detroit area?
Yes, I did.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
East side or west
Grew up
side?
Detroit. West side.
West side.
West side.
I love it. I love it. So all the things that you've done and you've seen, even in Motown, being a part of the Motown era, talk a little bit about, are you old enough to be a part of the Motown area? I mean, not old enough, young enough. I don't like the word old.
My father was a music connoisseur.
Okay.
And from the age of 5, my father played all old Motown. I grew up listening to Sam Cooke, old Motown.
Yes.
You named the genre, jazz, Miles Davis. My father played so much music. And then my mother was more the spiritual aspect. When I was a kid, she would lay me in her lap and sing gospel songs.
Wow.
I would go to sleep by her right head and singing gospel songs.
So that's amazing. I love that, because the two correlations kind of goes with what your bio reads, is that you definitely bridge those gaps between. I love what it read here. It says you bridge those gaps. Let me go back. Where is it? Between linking our humanity and our spirituality. How important has that been in your display of who you've even worked with? Because growing up, you said your dad was, you heard Sam Cooke, you heard the Marvin Gaye, the different things growing up, and then you had your mom, who gave you that spiritual side. How did that branch off into you being a part of the music industry? Did you always sing?
I always was intrigued with singing. I didn't really tap into it. I was singing early, like when I really realized that I had something, or I had a gift.
Okay.
I won a talent show in high school.
Wow.
As a freshman. And from that point on, I was just always intrigued with music. I would go in my room and spend hours there just studying music, listening to Stevie Wonder, Donny Hathaway, old Motown. I would study voices, the way they wrote, and I would feel these love songs and wonder why they would make me want to cry. And then I realized that it was deeper than music. There was something that made me feel the music, and I wasn't aware of my spirituality at that point, because I was raised on the street. The church, I was like 20, 22, maybe 24 years old.
Wow.
So I wasn't raised. I wasn't raised in church. I was raised on the streets of Detroit, on the west side. And when I say the street, I mean the street. I was raised in the neighborhood of, all YBI, Young Boys Incorporated.
Wow. So
neighborhood was called Tombstone. Your father would be familiar with it.
It was called Tombstone?
Yeah, that's what they called my neighborhood. They called it Tombstone.
You made it out.
So many. Yeah, and they bred drug dealers. And I believe that life has a duality. Everything with God is a duality. There's a good, there's an evil.
That's true.
There's human, spiritual.
Yes.
And so you ask, how do they connect? Jesus is to me, the linking point. We talk about Black History Month. There is no history without his story.
Woo! Come on.
If we don't tap into his story, we won't recognize, and our history will do us no good.
That's true.
It's because that we had taken the road that we've taken, and he brought us through. In a time of crisis, our creativity flowed more. So down through the years, we've always been a creative people because of our connection to God and his connection to us. So when we allow him to become the linking point with our humanity and spirituality, we'll get something special. And then special people do special things. And so my mother was that spiritual link, and my father was that street, that toughness, that but then he was that musical side. And so I didn't know a lot about gospel music when I came in church. So the flavor that I had came from me singing R&B from where I was. So I only
Yeah.
knew that one sound. So when I came in, I didn't know what I was bringing. I just was doing what I was gifted to do, and
Yeah.
it turned into something else, And
It's
that's when I met Eric Bryce, friend of mine who played for Chaka Khan, Stephanie Mills, Babyface, you know. Then on the gospel side, he introduced me to the gospel side because he played for the Clark sisters, the
wow.
Winans, Thomas Whitfield, and
Yes.
so he came back one day, and I did my first recording, and it was so advanced, so they said, with the R&B flavor that they said there was no room in gospel music for it. They said, "Man, we can't do that. They won't receive it." Said it's they said it was too cutting edge is the word they used.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now I found out 3-4 months later, maybe a year later, I met Fred Hammond, Mitchell Jones,
Yes.
Mission,
Carl
and
Reed.
yeah, this was before they became Commission.
Got you.
When,
Okay. Okay.
when they were forming, me and Mitch, my writing partner,
Okay.
Mitchell Jones, we
Yes.
would hang out, we would play ball, we was at each other's house at least out of a week. We saw each other at least 4 or 5 times out that week,
Wow.
and we hung like that. So most of the music that you hear that came from Commission and from me and Mitch as writers came from relationship.
Yes.
We were
You could tell.
young. The flavor that I had was an R&B flavor because I didn't know church. Mitch didn't have an R&B voice. His family was R&B. Fred listened to R&B, and then he had church. He had Michael Brooks, who was a Chicago fan, Toto and James Taylor, and all that
Wow.
different flavor that he brought, and all these things mixed in. Carl, he was a lover of Motown, and he had Keith, he was a baby, still in high school, and
Wow.
all these entities came together. God brought them together, and again, when love is prevalent, it will produce something special. And I think because we love what we did, it came together and matched. But you can kind of say the R&B flavor of the harmonies and syncopated melodies and things like that came from myself, Mitch, and Fred. But I brought a lot of the R&B flavor because I didn't know anything but R&B. And then my lyrical content was just a gift from God. When you have a gift and you understand that the gift is to be a blessing to others and it's not just for you,
That's right.
then you understand that music is not just music, it's a movement. And
That's
so
good. Can I say something to that before you move forward? The singer songwriter out of Atlanta, Georgia, Janelle Moore, Janelle Simone, excuse me, and that's what I began to tell her. God began to even show me into her life a little bit and show me that her music or music period, what we do period, is not for us. It's for the people. Our gifts and talents are for the people. So you knowing this, I believe that's why you were able to transcend into from, even though people were saying it was cutting edge and all of that, it was not for you. It was not for the people that even sung. It was for the people because it changed a lot of commissions. Music changed lives. I know it changed mine. It changed mine. It changed mine. Run it back to you, honey. Run it back to you. I would literally be in so like, oh God, I'm coming back, Jesus. Somebody listen to Run It Back to You today. I'm telling you, it will bless your whole soul.
And I think that's beautiful. I can honestly speak. That's why I do it.
Yeah.
I do it because music can go places that other things can't go. Music is the only place that can invite itself and don't have to be welcome. If you in the
That's
grocery store, you bouncing your head to some music. It
true.
got in there. You didn't even know it was there. And so
Right.
that's how powerful. Once you realize how powerful it is, I always wanted the lyrical content. Everything that I've written for Commission, Ordinary Just Won't Do. I Am Here. No More Loneliness. Victory. Cry On.
I'm gonna listen to Commission
I Love
today.
Thinking of You.
Yes.
All these songs, I'm just naming a few. You Can Depend. All these things came from experience
Yes.
of where I was in life and whether it was painful, where I took it to God and where He began to speak to me through
Yes.
music, then allowed me to share those feelings that people could relate to in song, but also provide the solution to the problems that you may be having. And I felt like there's no stronger tool to use than to use your voice, whether you're talking, singing, or through a melody that pulls on the strings of heart to touch people where they are.
So
That's why
true.
music moves in such a way. It can bring healing when it's done right. And I think if we put the vocal point back where it belongs onto the message more than we do ourselves,
Come on.
I heard Horrace, Mr. Sheffield talk about self-promotion.
Mm-hmm.
And along with self-promotion comes self-aggrandizement. It becomes about the person and not about the gift that they have. And I think when we put the emphasis back to where it belongs, then we'll see the change that we desire to see here in the earth. We have the tools, but we need to put the tools back in the proper place so that respect can be seen to bring people back to where they belong. And that's in the presence of God so that they can make the changes that they want to see.
Jesus. And I believe that's what is, I believe we're coming back full circle, even with our music. I remember growing up listening to the Commission and some all the songs that you named, literally all of them. I know you did. Who else did you write for, real quick? Because we're about to wrap up in a minute. But I wanted to. It's a couple of things I want to do. God is showing me so much concerning you and your career, and I will definitely have a prophetic word for you on tonight. So I would like to share
Absolutely.
that before we get off here.
Absolutely.
Also, name some of the people that you've worked with, even on the R&B side, because I know we talked about 112, because that's an R&B group, right?
Yeah, 112. The song was Cry On that 112 did. David Hollister did.
Is that the
Ordinary
same one
Just
from
Won't.
Commission? He did that
Yep,
too? Really?
yep,
I never
uh-huh.
knew
All these
that.
songs doing for Commission. Commission is an iconic group for R&B groups because they developed their style from Commission. And so they pay tribute to Commission because of the sound that they have.
So
That's why you hear a boy
true.
Jodeci, 112, Silk, all these groups that you will hear, and they're paying homage to those groups. You know, you have Jamie Foxx, Justin Bieber, Usher, Janet Jackson.
Talk about it.
All these different people say that the Ordinary Just Won't Do is their favorite song. You know, so Commission has a wide, uh, just a broad
Yeah,
spectrum.
they crossed over, man. They crossed over. Like, their songs,
You know,
like,
and we think, yeah, and that's part
yeah,
of the movement that I was. And you know, Yolanda Adams, I just met
her
her
too. Yeah.
years ago, and we connected. And again, relationship. We just were people, young people that were having fun together. She heard a song I did, and she liked it, and she recorded along with my friend Aaron Lindsay and Charles Ali. I call him Hollywood. Charles Hollywood Harris, who were
Wow.
co-writers, and the rest was just history of what he did. And also did work with Earl Clue. Uh, just so many people, and I guess I'm just the movie Blank Man.
Oh,
Uh,
wow.
it's so it's so many different artists have performed songs in movies that were written. I think the song that was performed in the movie was also "Cry On," and so
That song,
I've been
honey.
blessed.
Cry on when there's nothing. We're gonna play that before we leave. I know, honey, that song right there. Let's talk about
Yeah,
your experience just dealing with the people that you've worked with, and now here we are years later. There's more. There's more. Now, who's this gentleman sitting next to you? I know people wondering, so let's introduce. Let him introduce himself.
Hello, I'm Ed Armstead the third. I've been called a lot of things at Parks. Today was a new title, agent. I'm the owner of Eat Music Group, the label that
Yes.
Parks is on.
Yes. The record
I'm
label.
part of his management.
Yes.
I'm his friend. I'm his brother, and he good people, and he a man of God, and we work together on a lot of things. And God has brought us to this place.
I love it. Very persistent. Ron Lefford, shout out to Ron. We had Beth on a few weeks ago, and they introduced us. And like I said, I met you some years ago, Sir Parks, Stewart, Mr. Stewart, through Ryan. We were at an event Ryan was throwing,
Yeah.
some years ago, and you were there, and he introduced us, and I was like starstruck. I'm like, he wrote for commission? Like, hold up. Is commission here? I was like, we got to get them on the show, like all of them. So anyway, so just so excited to have you on tonight. And I begin to see, as you were talking, sir, I begin to see the story of Lazarus. And I have to cultivate what I see, as prophetic, we have to cultivate what we see. So I'm sitting here thinking, listening to God, and I'm listening to you. And I begin to hear God say that even as Lazarus lay dead for 4 days, and then Jesus came, even they said, oh, it's too late, it's done, it's gone, no more, Lazarus is dead, you should have been here or he wouldn't have died. But I hear God saying that your career and your legacy and what God is doing with you is not dead. Even today, I hear God saying that Lazarus come forth, and even as you come forth, even out of your grave clothes, not that you are dead, not that you physically are dead, but there are people in their minds that's like, oh, he's this and that's no more, that's done with. But God said he is calling for Lazarus to come forth, even out of your belly, even out of the music, that God, it's not done. That's what I hear God saying. It's not done. It's literally coming back full circle. God said this is the season and hour. He is taking you to another level, even more connections. I hear God said more divine connections are coming in this season. God said, don't, you know how some people retire? This is not your time to retire. This is not your time to lay down and say, this for the young folk, or that's for that generation. This a new. God said, I literally keep seeing the word full circle, the two words full circle. It's coming back full circle. The music that God is giving you, and the ability to write and also connect humanity, connect love, connect the people to music, and where it's not self-gratification, where it's not just about, some of the stuff that we're seeing in the industry now. God said he is bringing it back around, and God said it is not dead, and he's calling it forth back up out of the grave clothes. Come forth, says the Spirit of the living God. And I hear God saying that he is even going to do something inside of your health and even your strength. God said he is strengthening you. You are waxing strong, says the Lord. You are not done. Your music is still needed, says God. And he said he's going to begin to show you, even I see your dream life even being cultivated and heightened in this season, where creativity will be able to flow even again as before. And even God said the people that counted you out, they might as well just wait and see, because what he's about to do inside of you and through you, they thought you were out for the count, but God said you is rising you up. And he said, I keep hearing it again, he says, Lazarus, as unto you your music and Park Stewart, and the legacy that you will leave, and the legacy that you have already started, and that shall go forth for generations to come, says the Spirit of the living God.
Amen.
I'm just going to say this so that you would know how on point. God never shoots blanks. And I'm going to confirm what you said. One of the words that I've been saying, and my manager who moves in the prophetic himself, we always said it's coming full circle. God has spoke to me and said everything's coming full circle, and we're going to bring it back around. It all comes full circle, so I receive it. Everything you said was on point. I just had a prayer this morning. Every morning I pray, and I thank the Lord, and I told him, I said that I wanted him to give me more strength to make sure that wherever he's taking me, that he will be my strength to be able to do it with all the vigor and zeal in which he wants it to be done, because I never want to shortchange God or his people. Yes. So that's one of my prayers. And every day I pray for new strength and youth as the eagle. And so he's been providing that. And so I just wanted you to, and I really appreciate you being obedient to him. And I
I received that word, woman of God.
Amen. Y'all heard it right here. Y'all, he was on In the Know. So when he be out there, y'all, I'm be at the red carpet, wherever you at. So I'm be at the red carpet probably doing some interviewing, but I'm gonna be there. I'm like, hey, Park, get on over here. So don't forget about us. I know you won't. I know you won't. Yeah, I know you won't.
got you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited. God, you are so amazing. And I am so like ecstatic to see what God is getting ready to do, that full circle that's coming. And it's not going to be like many days hence. You're going to begin to see, and God's going to give you, I call them God winks, where he just winks on your prayer. He starts answering. You're going to see it's going to just be like a dam that broke. And you're just going to be like, wow, this is amazing. Even though you know God is amazing, but he's about to show you that eyes have not seen, that ears have not heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man what God has in store for you. And I'm just so glad you were able to grace our platform here on In the Know, unveiling the greatness in you. Thank you again. We're going to play Cry On going out. Y'all give it up again for Park Stewart and also Edward Armstead III. Thank you again, you all, for coming on tonight. This has been another edition of In the Know. So we'll see you. Wait. How can we contact you? How can we contact you? If somebody wanted to follow you on Facebook or Instagram, all that good stuff.
You want me to take care of every part?
Yes, go ahead.
Real quick, you can follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Eat Music Group on YouTube. Parks has his own Park Stewart Facebook. I also have an Edward Armstead III Facebook. On Instagram, it's at Edward Armstead 3, the number 3. We're also on TikTok at Eat Music Group. And if you're going to reach out to us, eatmusicgroup@gmail.com. We'll answer any questions, and we'll be more than happy to help you in any kind of way for bookings, for conferences, for concerts, for Parks to minister. Oh, he preaches the gospel just as well as he sings. And a lot of people don't know that. He wouldn't tell you that, but I will. So,
oh, wow. I believe it. So much God has in store and getting ready to happen. So I'm excited. So go ahead. Y'all contact Eats Music Group with Edward Armstrong III. Also follow them both. All on social media. We'll also have it on our website at itkShow.com. itshowk.com. That's In the Know. That's short for In the Know. We don't want to put the long words. So itkShow.com. Let's go ahead and go out with one of Park Stewart's songs that he wrote for a legendary group, our Detroit hometown. None other than Commissions. And we will see you all next week. This has been another edition of In the Know. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, In the Know 313, and YouTube, In the Know 313, and at the1tv.com. We'll see you next week.
When your burdens seem to weigh you down, or the road, it seems too far to carry on, just look to the hills. You will find your help whence cometh from the Lord. Hold on, even when you feel you can't go on, even if you have to moan, let your soul cry out to the Lord. Cry on, God understands your tears. He knows how much that you can bear. Faintest cry you hear. Cry on when there's nothing else to say. So they'll wipe all your tears away. Without test and trial, you won't experience real joy, oh no. Gold without fire, it would never trial, you will never know that God can bring you through. Even when you feel you can't go on, even if half the moan, let your soul cry out to you. May cry in the night, but